is day 32, December 2nd of the year of our Lord, 2024. Now, I'm just making some coffee for the morning. Then we're just gonna get straight to writing, so I'll just see you in a minute. Alright, just started writing. Silly me, as always, has written a couple sentences already, but no worries, it's only 87 words, so I'll just show you what we're working with this morning. There you go, 87 words, nothing crazy. So yeah, I'll just get back to you when I have something more interesting to talk about, but for now, we are moving on to the second and biggest scene of this chapter, and then we're moving on to just some really crazy like we're fully in the third act now. This is, I think, where it truly starts to unfold even more. Perhaps the last few chapters were just kind of an end to Act 2, a transition between the two acts. This one is 100% now Act 3. So yeah, excited as always. I will see you later. All right. I am grateful to be alive right now. Going down to the basement. I tried to close the door real quick. I don't know why. And I was holding the speaker and the water bottle. And my phone was in my pocket, thankfully, so I wasn't holding that much. But holy shit, I kind of stepped quickly onto the second step. Missed it while the door was closing, so I just fell all the way down the stairs. Like kind of like, I don't know, stumbled down in this really odd way, twisted my ankle, and yeah, I fell. I just slammed to the floor, scraped up my arm a little bit. Not too bad though. I'm not bleeding or nothing's broken, so I'm just grateful for that too. Honestly, my first reaction was like, fuck, I can't go to the gym. I mean, I'm just stumbling a little bit right now. Oh, because it's pretty painful. And it's just a tiny bit swollen, honestly. It just hurt really bad upon impact, but that's just what happens every time. Like, I get hurt some kind of way. Hurts like crazy, and then it just fades, right? Put some ice on it, it just fades. But I'm glad my coordination is actually really good, because that was, like, I'll show you the stairs, man. Like, they're just like pretty average stairs. There's no railing either. Like, look at these. Right from there, stumbled, just, and then fell right here. Not ideal, but at least we can work out. It's chest day, not leg day. Tomorrow's leg day, but we'll see how it heals. Maybe it will be okay. But yeah, at least my mom was there, so she was able to bring down some ice for me. So silly, man, so silly. These stupid little things happen. At least I didn't die, because apparently it sounded like thunder. All right, well, I'm gonna see you after my workout. Looks like it's another low day today. You know, lots of distractions, a lot of ankle pain now setting in, but it's not too bad. I got about 900 words done, almost 900. There we have it, almost 900. We're close to 208. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but look at this. I have a whole microphone set up. Now, I have used this before for videos, but not these vlogs, because you know, they're a little fast paced and whatnot, but there you go. You can probably hear me pretty well. It's a pretty decent mic. It's a little dusty, but yeah, we're all good to go. I'm sure it sounds a lot better than that, but yeah, whoops. Just got done editing a little bit as well, and I'm gonna move on to writing a little bit of the screenplay as well tonight. Just a page or two just to get some ideas flowing for tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a real busy day. really, I'm going to try to eliminate distractions, man. Like, just all the little things are really adding up, right? Like, every little time on the phone, every little time watching like a YouTube video, for example, even though it's like productive, it's productive procrastination, right? Like, this is very common amongst my generation, particularly. I know pretty much everyone is like, I don't know, from the age of probably under 10 to like 30 gets it. And maybe even beyond 30. Like, it's an epidemic at this point. It's a pandemic of thought. But that's just the thing. Like, yeah, it's about, you wanna create more content than you consume. That's a big issue with with our generation. I think it's, we want to create, but creating is hard and it requires boredom, and we hate being bored. I know I do. And it's not necessarily that I can't spend time with myself or my thoughts, but it's just a natural thing to have something in the background now. Uh, it's wild. It's wild. Um, yeah, it's just, even if it doesn't even have to be YouTube videos, just music. I should, like, I don't know. I used to put on shows in the background that I would like, that I've watched already, and it's just, it's just familiar. I think that's what we need to get rid of a lot of the time, familiarity. And we're so isolated and polarized nowadays. Um, what's the word? We're atomized, right? We're all in these little cubicles, these houses, these apartments, quite literally cubicles at work, desks at school. We're supposed to listen to what's ever happening, and that's important. I just mean, in a general sense, we spend more times with ourselves than other people. However, when we're working, we're not really spending time with ourselves. We are, depending on the work. I feel like something like writing, definitely, it's more like that. But at the same time, I like to listen to music for atmosphere, for building up like a tone for the scene. It helps reinforce some of the themes, because I think about them a little more. I think about like what the characters thinking. It's, you get the point. It's just that we're so separated from each other. I do this alone. It's a very lonely job, writing, and not only this, like, think about how school is lonely. We're surrounded by all these people, and we hang out with them, and I think it's great for socializing. But you're still lonely, especially as a teenager, right? You feel so lonely, no matter how many people you have around you. And I'll call this whatever you want, but I think this is just a product of the times. It's yeah, consuming content has really accelerated this, especially over the four last years since the plague. Um, and yeah, it's only gotten worse because our minds, our brains, the circuits, they're used to this like quick reward. They're we don't like a diversity. We like the easiest thing possible, familiar things, and that's why consuming content is what we primarily do. When you want to wind down, you don't you don't usually read a book. I feel like if you do, that's great. And consuming that kind of content helps your brain, not only because you're reading, which helps embrace your vocabulary and whatnot, but most of us don't, because it requires more thought, and though it's relaxing, you're more engaged, it's more active, and when you sit back watching a show or a YouTube video or movie, you kind of disengage a little bit, and unless you're like a real um I don't know, analyzer. You really like sit down. I know writers are like this. Like, we have a hard time just relaxing watching a show or a movie. We really kind of think about like what happened behind the scenes here. Why did, especially with the story, right? Like, why did the writers do this? How did they come to this conclusion? What's going to happen next? What are the clues? Um, you know, it's just a lot more than that too. It's just that's That's a typical thought process. We're looking out for different things, but and the average person is too, right? Like people are engaged. People are engaged with media, but it doesn't really relax your brain. You're not bored, right? And that's how you create. You're bored. That's why I decided to write a book in the first place, because I had a passion and love for it. But I was like 16, and I was bored. I was consuming content, but this was 2019 before the plague, and there's less of an addiction, to be honest. Most people had a mild dependence, but it wasn't like a full blown addiction like nowadays. Nowadays, like just especially with short form content, that's why I prefer making these videos, even though short form is probably more lucrative. And I'll definitely lean into it in terms of shorter topics and stuff that I can address really quickly. I'm definitely thinking of ways to expand now, but at the moment, this is what I'm doing because it's a little easier for me. It runs at my kind of pace, runs at my Matt Pace's pace. So this is what we're doing. Yeah, I just had this thought recently because I want to create as much as I can before I die, because we never know when we die. But I also want to consume. It's just I've noticed that I've been consuming so much that I'm actually distracted from creating, and that's the epitome of like just these past few months. And it was a lot worse before, right? And now I'm creating more than I have in the last probably 10 months, right? Last December, last January was super productive months. Although I was in quite a rut, just in general. I still persevered to get stuff done. But now I'm leaning into productivity a lot more. It's not just about like the hustle and whatever. It's just about like actually like living healthier, having a better structure to your day, wasting less time. That there's you've definitely seen um, the the chart of how many days you have left if you're 18 years old or if you're 20 years old. Shows you the weeks you've used up, and then the weeks remaining, and then it shows how much will be spent if you continue the current trends of the average young person. If we continue these trends, we're gonna spend most of our time on our phones, not just phones, but in front of a screen, consuming content, working on like basically pointless things for someone else. And it's not necessarily, it's an honorable thing, man. Like we need the world to run. Like it's a good thing that people are working, right? It's a good thing. It's an honorable thing. But we just spend in front of a screen wasting time very often. And whether it be like these micro sessions of scrolling, or if it's like actually dedicating time to sit down, either way, it's still a waste of time. It's still a waste of time. If you're watching productivity videos, this and this, that's what it is, man. This video, if you're like binging videos, and this is one of them, then that's negative. But if you watch them generously, like just to learn, and then you put them down, that's good. That's fine. Like you're not wasting your life. I will continue to watch YouTube videos because I don't want to forever like leave the platform that I kind of grew up on. I don't think I don't think I wasted too much time as a kid, although I did spend quite a lot of time depending on which period of my life it was. But dude, I played so much outside. I played with my friends so much. I imagined so much. Like we had so many games. God, I love thinking about it. Like just those good old days of like playing in the fucking pastures. Not really pastures. I mean, I grew up close to the country, but it was mostly a small town in Ireland that I grew up in. Um, and it was very nice. Like we spent so much time just playing, imagining things. With my one friend, like I would often, we would play like Iron Man or Tony Stark, or like we were like geniuses, like creating crazy gadgets. Um, and we like created these gadgets from like paper, cardboard, like whatever materials we had, and we pretended that they would do these cool things. And that's a childhood right there. I feel like that's what a lot of kids are missing out on nowadays. I mean, I'm sure they're still playing. Like it's not all over. We're not all cooked the same way. Like, young adulthood isn't like changed a whole crazy amount. It definitely has. But there's certain perks to it. There's certain negatives. Either way, we're consuming more than ever. Just not sitting down to formally consume content, but like accidentally. Like people used to sit in front of a TV on purpose to watch something. Like this is going back as early as like the 40s or 50s where it got really popularized, right? But like those were the times where like in North America specifically, like I'm not talking about Europe, like in Poland for example, like that shit was starting in like 80s, the 70s perhaps too, but like it was mostly the radio. When America was thriving, it was still radio in Poland. But either way, like it kind of still worked for them. They weren't brain rotted like we are today, and especially Americans, like Americans, Canadians. I'm North Americans, the continent, the north side of the continent, not the south. We all know what happened there, but it's just it hasn't helped us in the long run, and I think people who want to create consume more than ever and waste their time on consuming way too much. So yeah, heed caution, heed caution, because we don't have much time. Today went by very quickly for me. It was just 9 a.m. and now it's 9:37 p.m. And every single day is like this. And it feels too fast, even though I am creating. Like I'm nearly done this novel, but it just doesn't seem like enough time. Like how am I to create all these novels that I plan? And I know it's possible. I recently saw this really inspiring guy. Like he's in his mid 20s, like 26 or something. He's written like 40 novels. Really cool shit. Really cool shit. They're shorter than mine for sure. Like mine are crazy in length. His are like probably under 100K, around 100K, which is still very impressive. And he pumps these out so fast. Like he started self-publishing when he was like 18, I think. I forget his name. My bad. I forget his name. Oh man, something. Yeah. Um, I think it's another Matt, perhaps. That's what I remembered. Yeah, yeah, not a similar name to me, but like my same first name. But yeah, really, really interesting. Like he wrote these longish books, pumped them out super quickly. Now I don't know about the quality of his books, but I saw the reviews for one, and they were relatively positive. Like it was like 4.5 stars. Stuff that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff, and it's inspiring to see like it's possible to do this stuff. He sold quite a lot of books too. So we have time to create. We have time. But the thing is, what it made me think is like he probably doesn't consume all that much. He probably reads for sure. But I doubt he just like doom scrolls. Not that I doom scroll often, but I find myself doing it more than I'd like. And often for me is like really often, like not often. I would say I probably doom scroll for how long? Like, it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes at most. Like I catch myself really quickly. Hours don't really go by doom scrolling, but like 5 to 10 minutes sometimes. It happens maybe once a day, once every other day. This depending on how busy I am, but I still like I scroll and then I notice like, oh man, so it adds up, and maybe through an entire day that's like 10, 15 minutes wasted, because sometimes I intentionally go on Instagram. Other times I notice I just press the app for like no reason, and that's completely intentional. Like this has been proven several times by people much smarter than me, um, and just like by everyone on this platform, on many other platforms. So yeah, rough. We're living in a dystopia already. We are living in the cyberpunk timeline. That's a given, right? Like we expected it to be like, cyberpunk 2070s. We have some cool like exoskeletons. People have like crazy implants and tattoos, and like you can live to like 150 if you're like, if you if you're older, um and you got that far in the first place. Or like, we have holograms and stuff, and I don't know, cars that run on wind or some shit. Like, it's not like that. Instead, our cyberpunk utopia, well, it's very cyber, right? Like it's very cyber, not cybernetic. That's not the right, or is it? It's very cyber enforced. Like, you know, I have technology here, maybe not cyber technology, but it has wires. My computer, my headphones, a bunch of wires here, like a little dongle to connect. Man, like what else can I find? I have keys to a car, which are like you press it and it beeps. We're surrounded by technology, meant to distract us, so that it makes money off of us. And in fair game to the people who came up with it, right? You're smarter than me. You got me. But it's starting to piss me off because I'm too aware of it now. We're all too aware of it now. So I want to create. I don't want to consume. But you have to consume to create. So you have to balance it out. So the moral is, or the lesson here is, you have to balance it as a creator. If you're not a creator, still consume less, and then just free up your time to do other stuff. Like, and by creator I mean like anything creative, right? This extends to anything, right? It's even like if you like making like little, and like if you're an engineer, that's still creative, right? Like anything, it frees up time to pursue little side projects. If you just do shit, bro. um and you won't regret it, for sure, for sure. I think that's it. I'm gonna go consume some food now. Goodbye.